Welcome to Destination Central for our very first episode of 2014. I'm Aimee Forrest. Now, I hope that you've all had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's break and that those New Year's resolutions are still in full swing. Now, if one of those resolutions was to get in touch with your creative side, then this show is for you. That's right, we have a very special week as we explore the arts of the Bay of Plenty. Now, we know that this beachside region has a very talented and creative team of artists, so let's check out our lineup. We begin our show with ceramics and stained glass at the Clay Art Studio. We then discover local artists at the Cargo Shed. And lastly, we head over to the Mount to view the stunning pieces at Lightwave Gallery. Now, as we've just seen, the Bay of Plenty is a beautiful place to live. But before we go and check out a few businesses, we're going to do a little bit more research into the arts and culture of the Bay of Plenty. So I've got Curator Angela McKenzie here. Now, first of all, are the arts alive and kicking here in the Bay?
They sure are, and they've certainly kicked into a whole new gear in the last year. We've been really lucky that two new galleries have opened. Zeus Gallery on the 11th Ave, fantastic eclectic range of artists, both locally and national. Really set aside some time to go and visit them, they're fantastic. Also Lightwave Gallery in Tocha Street in Mount Wanganui, fantastic new gallery, something really different there. They've explored themes in exhibitions such as steampunk and sci-fi, and definitely another reason to set aside a good amount of time to go and visit them. And one last I would like to mention was the Incubator. It's a new artist collective down at the Historic Village on 17th. They've been developing some fantastic events, and this next coming year is going to be really exciting coming from them as well.
Wow, so a huge range to look out for in the Bay. Now, what is it about Tauranga that's so inspirational to artists?
I think, as you mentioned earlier, we live in a beautiful area of New Zealand, we really do, and that is really inspiring for most artists here. But when you get things, places like the Incubator, that, you know, an artist collective that draw on all genres and styles, and they bring in lots and lots of different artists from different areas, and they kickstart events, you know, they get together and the ideas and the energy is flowing. So I think that's really important for the whole arts community, because anyone can engage with them and go down and visit, and if they've got an idea they can go down and see them and discuss it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what about events? Any events coming up?
Two major events coming up this year are the annual Jazz Festival, the National Jazz Festival. That's always fantastic. The whole city is inundated with people from all around the country. Music is fantastic, the atmosphere is fantastic. Also, another event we've got coming up later in the year is the Garden and Art Fest. This is a biennial event, and it explores fantastic gardens that green-fingered artists have developed, and also our visual artists, they have their work on display.
Awesome, okay. Now, driving through the town, I've seen a lot of sculptures and pieces of work out on display. Is there a favourite piece or project that you've seen out and about at the moment?
There's a few projects that are actually kicking off at the moment, I won't talk about, but I will talk about the piano project, which, going back to the Incubator, the artist collective, they've actually grabbed hold of that idea and kick-started it in a major way. So they've been getting pianos from all around the place off Trade Me, being donated them. They've pulled together artists of all genres and painted them up, created amazing sculptures out of them really, and they've popped them all around the city on the streets, and we have one outside our gallery here, and people play it all day long. We hear some fantastic musicians. Yeah, they just stop and basically have a jam on the street,
That's-
singing and all sorts.
That
Yeah.
is such an awesome idea, so
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for having a chat to us today, Angela. Now, stick around because after the break, we are going to check out the clay art studio. Well, we have now reached Art Central in Tauranga here at the Historic Village, and we're off to meet the very talented Steve and Lynn from the Clay Art Studio. Hi Steve. Now this studio feels creative from the minute you walk in with all the colours and the beautiful pieces. So tell me, how did the Clay Art Studio and Leadlight Expressions begin?
Well, it started about 20 years ago actually. Leadlight Expressions it started, and we were lead lighting, just commissioned lead lighting in North Canterbury. And we learnt it from a night class just like we run now. And then we left Canterbury, came to Tauranga. And living in Tauranga, we thought we would set up a shop. So in this case, we've got all these products to sell, and we teach people trades as well. So I started with Leadlight Expressions, which was one business, and that was making lead lights on commission, on consignment. And then later on, we added the ceramics, making all of these sorts of things, and teaching people.
Okay, so what sort of ceramics do you make? And tell me about the classes that you run.
The ceramics are all handmade, hand-painted by us right here in Tauranga, and they're all pretty funky, as you can probably see from the background here. Mainly used for mosaics. They're as a background into mosaics, and that's why we have these kit sets to put them into. But they're also great to hang on the wall, so you can see some of the wall hangings that you can make, and also set into concrete pathways, onto barbecues, into kitchens, walls of cafes, that kind of thing. All really quite neat stuff, and they're high-fired, so they're weatherproof and really long-lasting. And then the classes are, we do all sorts actually, but teaching mosaics is one thing, again talking about what's behind me, I hope you can see it. And then stained glass or lead lighting, and we do fused glass, which is making jewellery and plates and stuff like that out of melting glass. Art clay silver, which is silver jewellery, Darjet sculpture.
Yeah, a huge range. And you do commissioned work?
Commission work, yeah, well lead lighting is our trade. That's the thing we do, mostly for commission, which is design and make and install and repair lead lights. And that's an ancient craft that we've been doing for 20 years, but it's been going for hundreds of years, and much the same way as it always has been. And then we also do commission ceramics. So we can make house plaques and plaques for headstones and all manner of things.
So what other tools and accessories do you hold for those who want to get a bit creative themselves?
Glass is a big thing. Because glass is such beautiful stuff, so beautiful colours and textures. And it's wonderful in mosaics and in stained glass, and we keep a good range of it here. And then we've got a whole range of things for fused glass and for mosaics and stained glass and sculpture, yeah, all sorts.
Now Steve, we're going to take a look at a few pieces in a minute, but before we do so, where is the Historic Village located and how can viewers get in contact with you?
The village on 17th Avenue in Tauranga, and it's down below the hospital, and there's lots of parking out the front. We've got a good website with lots of stuff on there, and we're on Facebook, so check us out on Facebook, or come on down and see what we've got, take a class, or maybe commission a lead light.
Great, well let's take a look.
Okay, come this way.
Alright Steve, so what do we have here?
Well, this is just to tell you a little bit about mosaics. So mosaics is also an ancient craft actually, but it's basically lots of pieces stuck down on some sort of a baseboard. And this particular one is glass on a mirror background. We do classes in this for beginners and experienced people, because we have different levels and there's all manner of different materials that you can use. But this is one of these ceramic pieces which we're going to tell you about shortly. And as I say, the rest is glass. This, in a one-day workshop, you'll get to make one of these, and you can completely finish it. We'll go through all the grouting and everything.
Wow, they're beautiful pieces. Now, I see that you've got classes for the ceramics as well.
Yep, ceramic painting. If you have a look here, Lynn is busy painting one of our stock pieces, and we have a wide range of ceramic pieces that are available for purchase. But you can also come in and paint your own, and it's a lot of fun. You can paint mugs and critters like this frog here. We do children's classes. Birthday parties are very popular, so we can get 20 people in here. And we also do corporates, so companies come in and do a team building type thing with in both mosaics and ceramics. ceramic painting,
Wow,
or even combined.
That's an awesome idea. So you've got one last piece to show?
Yes, well this is lead lighting, or stained glass it's also known, and as I say, it's been around for a long time, and we've been going for about 20 years with it, but it's still our big passion. You know, we just love the whole business of lead lighting. This is just to give you an idea of the process, really, of what we do with consultation. And so often people come in, they have no idea what they actually want, but in a design, they just know they want a lead light. So we go through a whole series of processes, and eventually we come up with a drawing. And this is giving you an idea of what a drawing looks like. Computer design, which is great. Well, I mean, I design it, but the computer does the drawing, which saves a lot of bother. In the old days, we used to do it with crayons and all sorts, so it's a major drama. Anyway, that's a picture, and then once everybody's happy with the picture, we turn it into a full-size drawing, and then the drawing we cut, and then we come to the assembly part of it, where the pattern is laid out, and then we put it together, and it's a jigsaw process. We start with lead, and then glass, and lead, and glass, and lead, and so on, until the whole thing's made up.
Wow. Now, Lynn looks like she's having a great old time painting there, so I might show her my artistic skills.
Good idea.
What a gorgeous store in the perfect location. So next time you're on the lookout for mosaics, stained glass or the perfect gift, head on into the Clay Art Studio in the historic village, Tauranga. After the break, we discover the cargo shed with Kathy Sass and Lightwave Gallery over in the Mount. See you then. The cargo shed in Tauranga specialises in local New Zealand made items, perfect for that unique piece of creativity you've been looking for. Hi Kathy. Now this place is huge and filled with so many beautiful pieces that have already caught my eye. So fill us in on the history of the cargo shed.
Originally the cargo shed was built to be the port terminal for all the cargo ships that came into Tauranga. And this is where they offloaded and people came to collect their goods. We have quite a nice museum started, which isn't by any means complete with some of the history. We've got some lovely old logbooks in the cabinet over there that have got names in them of people receiving goods. They're names that are still well known in Tauranga. More than 10 years ago, it changed into a craft market when the building was no longer needed as a cargo shed when the new port opened. And it's been a craft market ever since, which is really wonderful for the city.
So tell us more about the range that visitors can find here today.
Well, the thing that we pride ourselves in the cargo shed is that all the art that is presented here is made by New Zealanders. One of our absolute cardinal rules, and we stick to it 100%, is that nothing can be made in China. So many tourists who come to New Zealand and stop off at all the ports, go to the curio shops, and they are filled to a large percentage with Chinese, New Zealand curios. Whereas if they come in here, absolutely everything is New Zealand made. And it's different. It's not the same as what other curio shops would have. So we really offer a wide range to people, and it really excites them.
And it's not just about the art on the walls, you hold performances here too?
Yes, we've held a few performances. One in particular that was hugely successful. We had 4 nights with the Lord Blackbeards from Victoria University. They presented Romeo and Juliet, which was absolutely superbly done. We've also had the young children in the Steps Musical Theatre doing a musical presentation for us, which was absolutely delightful. We've also held charity events. We had an art auction for breast cancer support in Tauranga that was hosted by More FM. And there have been many things that we have done in here to bring people in, to make them aware of what we are and what we have to give to the people of Tauranga.
So what else would you say is unique about the cargo shed?
Not only do we look at visual art, as I've just explained to you, there's performing arts, but we now have started with Tauranga writers who are bringing in the books that they have written, and we are promoting them. And we started with the children's books, and they were tremendously popular over the Christmas season. We really sold a lot of them, and we want to showcase them to show people that the literary arts in Tauranga is strong as well. Apart from that, there is the artisanal food that we present. It's all made in the Bay, and our larder, which is where we sell the different artisanal foods from, is tremendously successful and so popular, and it's just growing by the day. So it's not just the visual arts, it's just about every form of art. And we also teach. We also allow people to participate, because they can come in here and they can see the artists at work. And that is a very special thing, to see the artists at work. They can actually sit down and learn from the artists as to how they do their art. We have a knitting table where everybody can sit down and knit a row, and then whatever is knitted is used for yarn bombing. So it's an interactive space that doesn't just belong to the people who are working in here. They are just borrowing it, and it belongs to all the people of Tauranga to showcase what Tauranga is all about and what we have to offer.
Yeah, well, I've got the ladies behind me knitting away. What an awesome idea. So tell me, where are you located and how can viewers get in contact?
5 Dive Crescent, right on the water, the best water views in town. We have 2 comfortable couches, and it's a wonderful place to visit.
Great, well, let's take a look at a couple of pieces.
Sure, Aimee, let's go. Let me show you.
Wow, Kathy, these pieces are beautiful. So tell me a little bit about these ones.
These are all carved by our master carver, Farihiki. He's an absolute wizard with carving, but he doesn't just use bone. He uses partially fossilized manatee bone, he uses woolly mammoth ivory, and lots of other bone type things dug up out of Siberia. And his designs are unique. They're not the same as you see from everybody else, and they are so popular. I'm very proud of them. These are his sculptures, and then he makes the smaller jewelry bits as well.
Wow, they are absolutely stunning. And you've got one more piece to show me?
Yes, let's go and have a look.
Oh wow, I love the colour of these pieces.
Well, Aimee, this is done by a very experienced glass artist that we have in the shed, and these pieces especially are extremely popular. They are done in the stained glass method of fused and slumped glass. Everything is glass. It's all hand painted and no two are the same. So these little things put on your windowsill or your mantelpiece at home are an absolute bonus to your home. There will always be a conversation piece and something to be very proud of owning.
Yeah, they're beautiful, and it looks like there's a lot of detail that's gone into them too.
Heaps of detail. They are so super.
So if you are looking to experience an exciting hub of activity, head on down to the cargo shed in Tauranga. Showcasing a wide range of works from local artists is Lightwave Gallery in Mount Maunganui. Let's take a look inside. Now Ken, what I love about this gallery is the support of local artists. So tell me a bit more about Lightwave Gallery.
Lightwave Gallery, we are trying to do things a little bit differently. We've got quite a diverse range of artists. The idea is that when you walk through that door, because we're a destination gallery, you can't walk through the door and go, I've seen all that down the road. So it's got to be different. And the way we tend to approach things is quite different as well. And what we've found is you've got a set of artists that really gravitate towards the way we work, as opposed to here's a set of pictures on the wall. So it's just bringing a little bit of theatrical to a display, so we can actually do quite an elaborate room set, and it just helps support certain things that would look really odd as a single object on their own. And we're now starting to find there's a set of artists that really do like working with us on that kind of thing.
Yeah, so tell me more about the style of works that you hold.
Style of works, it covers a whole range of things, and one of the things we were mindful of is people have a perception of a gallery as been drawing and painting and a little bit of sculpture maybe. Well, one of the things that works for us, in particular with younger people, is that they get this overview of the arts that cover everything. So We've got as much in the way of recycled steel sculptures as we have stone carving. We've got traditional painting, there's the photography and unusual things. I mean, Steve's copper bonsais, they're nowhere else, they're exclusive to here. So it just means that people are wowed when they walk through the door, and what we're finding now is that if we can get a customer through the door, they're back the following week with someone else and they bring someone else, and because it is different.
Now, you are one of 3 artists here, so tell me about all 3 backgrounds in the industry.
The gallery mainly is my gallery, it's my wife and myself. My background is graphic designer. I spent 33 years in the industry and covered all kinds of areas of design. In the old days, before computers, you as a designer had to be able to draw and paint. So I do illustration, photography, graphics, a whole range of things. And then we've got Ashley Grant. Now Grant's background is an architect. But his passion is stone carving and the ancient world. So when you see his work, it quite clearly leans towards sort of a bit towards Egypt and that kind of thing. Steve Allen's background is he had a landscape yard and a building background, and he makes all these kinetic plant sculptures for outside and the copper bonsais, and they're quite unique. The thing that's interesting about the 3 of us as a team, you've got a designer, an architect and a builder. We did everything ourselves on this building, so it's quite an unusual setup, but the nice thing is one set of skills complements another. There's not an overlap, and we've all got our unique strengths.
Yeah, so an amazing set of services to be able to pull together. And do you offer any extra services?
The other services we can offer is all range of photography. Whilst I specialise in seascapes, we're happy to do all kinds of portraits or room sets or anything like that. Ashley now tends to lean more towards architectural development work, if you were doing an extension, that kind of thing. And Steve has lately gotten involved with sort of landscape gardens.
Great. So Ken, where are you located and how can viewers get in contact with you?
Dead simple to find us. If you're driving in from Tauranga, you're going to come down Tota Street, and we're at the mount end of Tota Street, 31 Tota Street. Or you can just give us a ring, find out when we're open. We're trying to be open most days of the week. As we get into the winter, we'll close Mondays. Otherwise, this time of the year, we're pretty well 7 days a week, and you will get to talk to one of the artists when you visit.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Cool, thanks a lot.
Wow, what stunning pieces and such a wide range of local artist pieces on display. So next time you're in the area, be sure to swing by and be wowed by Lightwave Gallery in Mount Maunganui. Well, that brings us to the end of the very start of our year. We hope you've enjoyed our show of Arts in the Bay, and it's great to see that the arts are obviously still alive and kicking in Tauranga. Make sure you tune in again next week for our show Motoring in Hamilton. We'll see you then.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.